במצוותיו, במצוותיו. וציוונו להדליק נר, וציוונו להדליק נר, וציוונו להדליק נר של Shabbat.
Amen. You may be seated. We continue now with Shalom Aleichem as we welcome the Sabbath angels, page 5.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem leShalom, Malachei Ashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Now we will sing to God a new song, page 11, Lechu Neranena, sing with joy.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Naria letzor ishenu, nekadma fana betoda. Naria letzor ishenu, bizmirot nayalo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai.
The heavens rejoice, page 14, Yismechu Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tzagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, v'tzagel haaretz. Yiramayam, 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 umelo. Yiramayam, 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 umelo.
And now we welcome the Sabbath bride herself, Lecha Dodi, page 23.
Hay dai lecha dodi, hay dai likrat kala, hay dai penei Shabbat, hay dai lekabla, hay dai lecha dodi, hay dai likrat kala, hay dai penei Shabbat, hay dai nekabla, chamor vezachor bedibur echad, ishmianu el am yuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litila, hay dai lecha dodi, hay dai likrat gala, hay dai b'nei Shabbat, hay dai nekala, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor haberacha, berosh ראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. איי די די אחד עודי, איי די די לקראת גאולה, איי די די פני שבת, איי די די נקבלה. בואי שלום עצרת ברא, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלם, בואי חלם, איי די די לך אדוני, איי די די לקראת קלה, איי די די בני שבת, איי די די נקבלה, איי די די לך אדוני, איי די די לקראת קלה, איי די די בני שבת, איי די די נקבלה.
You may be seated. We continue on page 27, Tov Lahodot. It's good to give thanks to God.
טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך העליון. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך העליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלינה, ועלי היגיון בכינור. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך העליון. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון. טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני.
And now, for those who are mourning and those observing a yard site, we'll recite Mourners Kaddish on page 30. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalah u'vizman kariv v'yemru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam le'olmei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekudsha berechu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alama v'yemru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yemru amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yemru amen. We now ask everyone to rise for Baruch, page 39.
Baruch ent Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam pa'ed.
We may be seated. We continue with Ahavat Olam, page 40.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה, נגי יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו עולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 41.
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, וכשוכך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We continue silently in Hebrew or English to the bottom of page 42. Our ancestors were finally free from the Egyptians after they crossed the Red Sea, and they gave thanks to God with this song, Mi chamocha ba'ilim Adonai, who is like you, God, amongst the mighty, page 44.
Mi chamocha ba'ilim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar v'kodesh nora nora, nora teilot osef ele. Mi chamocha ba'ilim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora nora, nora teilot osef ele. Malchutcha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, Zeili, Zeili, anu ve'yameru. Malchutcha ra'uvanecha בוקי הים לפני משה, זיילי, זיילי, ענו ויאמרו. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא נורא, נורא תהילות אוסף אליהם. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא נורא, נורא תהילות אוסף אליהם. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש נורא נורא, נורא תהילות אוסף אליהם. Seifele, oh, Seifele.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Help us, O God, to lie down in peace tonight and awaken us tomorrow to life renewed. Page 45.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'amideinu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ushmar zeiteinu voreinu. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ushmar zeiteinu voreinu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'amideinu malkeinu lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Amen.
Page 46, Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Please rise for Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
בעלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחייך בית ישראל. בגלה בזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. בגלה בזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ליום יומיה. ויתפרח ויתפר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודש ברכו לאלה מן כה ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם ויעלמה ויאמרו אמן ויאמרו אמן ויאמרו אמן ויאמרו אמן.
Amen. We now do the silent Amidah for Shabbat, pages 47 to 52 in Hebrew or English. If you haven't finished your Amidah, you can continue. We now have two prayers for peace, something we certainly need in this world right now. Peace more than just an end of hostilities, but peace of mind, peace and security from viruses, from hatred and bigotry, from all kinds of anxieties. So two prayers for peace tonight. Shalom, starting with Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata umelech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata umelech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah
Adonai,
HaMevarech et Amo Yisrael Vashalom.
Osei Shalom.
Osei Shalom, Osei Shalom bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'yimru Amen. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'yimru Amen. Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom, Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Shalom Aleinu, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'yimru Amen. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'yimru Amen. Amen. Amen.
And now a special prayer for those who are ill among our congregation, their family and friends, and those around the world suffering from the coronavirus or other illnesses. Misha Berach by Debbie Friedman.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing for us and all of those we love. Mishaberach imotenu v'kor habracha avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
You may be seated. We continue with Kaddish Shalem, page 54.
Yigadal v'yigadal Shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
ve'amadi b'achirutei ve'amlich malchutei, ve'chayechonu v'yemechonu chai dechol b'it Yisrael, b'galav v'zman kariv ve'yimeru
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach,
le'olam ve'omei almaya yitbarach. Yibarach v'yishtabach yibar v'tomah v'yinaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal, Shemei lekodesha
Baruchu.
Leila mikol bechata v'shirata, tushechata v'nechemata, damiran ve'alma ve'imeru.
Amen.
Tikabasoton v'alton dechol Yisrael, kol damavun livishmaya ve'imeru.
Amen.
Eishram araba min shemaya, v'chayim alei v'kol Yisrael ve'imeru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'bramav, yaseh shalom, aleinu v'kol Yisrael ve'imeru.
Amen. This is a different perspective over here. So on this Shabbat, before the 4th of July celebration for our nation's independence, I want to talk about Alexander Hamilton and Emma Lazarus. Why? Well, let's start with Alexander Hamilton. First, Alexander Hamilton may have been Jewish. Now, I know it sometimes seems that we Jews like to think that everybody famous or important was Jewish, but there is actually a real academic historian who has written a biography of Hamilton, and he sets forth some interesting evidence that Hamilton might actually have been Jewish. He certainly was extremely friendly to Jews at a time when philo-Semitism was not exactly popular. The historian is Andrew Porwancher, and his book was supposed to have been published last year by Harvard University Press. I haven't figured out exactly what happened to the book since it's not listed at Harvard University Press's website, nor is any update given anywhere else I could find. But here is some of what Porwancher said. Hamilton was born around 1755, we're not exactly sure of the year, in the Caribbean island of St. Croix, which was Danish at the time. His mother was Rachel Fawcett. About 10 years before Hamilton was born, Fawcett had been married to a Danish trader named Johann Michael Lavienne. Now that name, Lavienne, is a Sephardic variant of Levine. Lavienne did not claim to be Jewish, but he may well have decided to hide his Jewish identity in order to be accepted in St. Croix society at the time. And Porwancher discovered that, in fact, no other Jews on St. Croix at that time identified themselves as Jews. Marriage between Jews and Christians in St. Croix was forbidden at that time. So if Lavienne was Jewish, Rachel Fawcett would likely have had to be converted to Judaism before they got married. And they had a child together, not Hamilton. But the child was not baptized. Lavienne and Fawcett unfortunately had a terrible marriage. He had accused her of harlotry, and she left him and fled to a nearby island, Nevis, where she met a Scottish nobleman named James Hamilton. And that's how Alexander was born, out of wedlock, while his mother was still legally married to Lavienne. So maybe his mother was Jewish because she had previously converted to Judaism. But wait, there's more. Young Alexander attended a Jewish day school. Yes, you heard that right. He actually attended a Jewish day school in Nevis, an island that was at the time 25% Jewish. It may be that he would not have been admitted to a Christian school, born out of wedlock, and therefore he theoretically could not have been baptized. But Porwancher also discovered that there were in fact many illegitimate children back then who were baptized. In addition, Rachel Lavienne was not buried in a Christian cemetery, but rather on the grounds of her sister's home. So at least Hamilton had a Jewish education as a child, and it is possible that a hidden Jewish identity would explain that. In any case, as we know, Hamilton became a New York lawyer, and he apparently had a number of Jewish clients at a time when that also was not too common. In one of his more important cases, he defended a French Jewish merchant named Louis Le Guin. The other side's lawyer started to impugn Le Guin with the familiar anti-Semitic canards that we all are well aware of, such as being dishonest and lying under oath and so on. In response, Hamilton objected. Why distrust the evidence of the Jews? They once were under the immediate government of God himself, and they were selected as the witnesses of his miracles and charged with the spirit of prophecy. Hamilton won the case, with the largest monetary award in American history at that time. Hamilton's kids also had Jewish friends. Again, not necessarily so common back then, and he fought anti-Semitism in public venues. Graduating from King's College, which later became Columbia University, in 1781, he worked with John Jay to rewrite the college's charter. One thing they did was to abolish the requirement that the school's president had to be Christian. In writing the Federalist Papers, many people know that Hamilton worked with James Madison and John Jay. But Hamilton also enlisted his good friend, Gershom Seixas, to help him write them down. Seixas was the cantor of the famous New York synagogue, Shereth Israel. Seixas was also the first Jew to sit on the board of Columbia University. When George Washington wrote his famous letter to the Jews of Newport, which promised that the government of the United States gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance, and goes on to promise that everyone shall sit in safety under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid, quoting the prophet Micah, Hamilton seems to have helped Washington draft that letter. As you may know if you watched the play, Hamilton had been a longtime friend, confidant, and former secretary to Washington. The letter was delivered, by the way, to Moses Seixas, the brother of Hamilton's friend Gershom Seixas. Finally, and particularly relevant at this time of year, when the U.S. Constitution had to be ratified in each of the states, Hamilton organized the movement to do so in New York. He arranged a big parade as part of the effort, but when he found out that the scheduled date for the parade fell on the 17th of Tammuz, which is a fast day in the Jewish calendar, even though less than 1% of the New York residents were Jewish, he had the parade rescheduled for the following day. Next Thursday in our calendar this year, for those not following the Jewish calendar, is the 17th of Tammuz. Hamilton also apparently never went to church, nor did he ever take communion. So Hamilton may well have been Jewish. If not, he was probably the most philo-Semitic member of the founding fathers of this country. Now I want to talk about Emma Lazarus. She was a fourth or fifth generation American. One of her great-great-grandfathers came from Germany. All the rest came from Portugal, but had been living in New York since before the Revolution. Now, get ready for this. Her great-great-grandmother on her mother's side was Grace Seixas Nathan. That's right, Gershom Seixas' sister. But there's more, so just wait. Emma Lazarus, as you may know, wrote the poem called The New Colossus, that is affixed to the base of the Statue of Liberty on the inside of the building. The Statue of Liberty was the brainchild of a Frenchman named Edouard René Levolier in 1875. His original idea was to link the emancipation of the slaves in the United States in 1865 with the values of the French Enlightenment. But why did it take him 10 years to get this idea? 1865 was the emancipation, 1875 is when he commissions this statue. The answer is because France was under the thumb of Napoleon III and the Second French Empire from 1852 to 1870. So the values of the French Enlightenment had to be reestablished with the Third Republic in 1870. And I guess it took him another 5 years after that to get his brainstorm to gift this giant statue to the United States in order to celebrate liberty, enlightening the world. Americans, meanwhile, were not so impressed initially. And the deal was the United States had to pay for the pedestal to support the statue. So in order to raise money to build the pedestal, an art exhibit was organized to auction off commissioned pieces of art and treasure. Emma Lazarus was at first not interested in writing a poem for this exhibit, until a friend of hers convinced her that the statue would be of great significance to immigrants sailing into the harbor. Emma Lazarus, who had been a fairly assimilated Jew in early life, became obsessed with the impoverished Russian Jews coming to America after the assassination of Tsar Alexander II in 1881, which led to horrible pogroms against the Jews living there. In fact, 13 years before Theodor Herzl, Lazarus had argued for the creation of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. So, when a friend of hers told her that the statue would be a warm and welcoming icon for these poor immigrants, Emma Lazarus took up her pen and wrote this powerful and moving poem. The poem was the first entry read at the exhibit's opening in November 2nd, 1883. It remained associated with the exhibit throughout a publishing catalog until the exhibit closed after the pedestal was fully funded in August of 1885. But then it was forgotten, and it played no role at the opening of the statue in 1886. Meanwhile, Emma Lazarus tragically died in November of 1887 at the young age of 38, most likely from Hodgkin's lymphoma. Then, in 1901, another friend of hers began an effort to memorialize Lazarus and her poem, which succeeded in 1903 when a plaque bearing the text of her poem was put on the inner wall of the pedestal of the statue. And now, the rest of the story. The friend who put Emma Lazarus's poem on the Statue of Liberty, her name was Georgina Schuyler. Now, for those of you who saw the Broadway play, and by the way, it's now live streaming on Disney+, so you get a chance to see it again if you subscribe. The name Schuyler probably sounds familiar. That's because Alexander Hamilton married Elizabeth Schuyler, often called Eliza. Emma Lazarus's friend, Georgina Schuyler, was the great-great-granddaughter of Eliza Schuyler Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton's wife. The descendants of the good friends Alexander Hamilton and Gershom Seixas were also, maybe not so coincidentally, friends. Alexander Hamilton, one of the most important founding fathers of our country, essential interpreter and promoter of the Constitution, founder of the national banking system, right-hand man to George Washington, was, if not himself Jewish, at least a very good friend of the Jews. And as the Broadway play delights to point out, he was born an illegitimate child, an orphan, and a poor refugee. Emma Lazarus was a fourth or fifth generation American, assimilated Jew, who took on the cause of poor Jewish immigrants from Russia. So on this Shabbat, before Independence Day, as we celebrate the birth of our country that Alexander Hamilton played such a vital role in, and we recall the history of so many Jewish immigrants, including the ancestors of just about everybody watching right now, I'd like to read this poem, which has become an inseparable part of the symbolic meaning of the Statue of Liberty. Just a few words of explanation first. The title of the poem is called The New Colossus, and it refers to the original Colossus of Rhodes, which was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. That statue stood astride the harbor of Rhodes and represented the Greek god Helios. It was erected to commemorate the defense of the city against Cyprus, and it stood about the same height as the Statue of Liberty. The sea-washed sunset gates in the poem refers to the mouths of the Hudson and East Rivers, which are on the west, the sunset side of Brooklyn. The imprisoned lightning in her hand refers to the electric light in the torch, which was at the time a novelty. The air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame refers to New York and Brooklyn, which were at the time separate sister cities when she wrote the poem. And now, the new Colossus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land, here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she, with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Shabbat Shalom, and happy 4th of July. Please rise as we now do Aleinu, page 56.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומשה בקרוב השמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו וגובה מרמים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים עמם, והארץ מתחת עינו. כתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We'll now recite the Mourners Kaddish for those in mourning and those observing a yard site. This evening, Beth Yeshurun extends its condolences to the families of Naaman Lipinski, Murray Kami, and Maury Korb, as we recite now the Mourners Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalal v'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach li'olam li'almei al-maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei d'kudsha barechu. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiron b'yalma v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Osei shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Now tonight we have 3 anniversaries that we would like to announce. So the first anniversary is Harriet and Arnold Eisenstein, married for 46 years. Mazel tov. Harriet and Arnold have said the good thing that happened to you this year is your Passover dinner by Zoom with all your family from Houston, Dallas, Pearland, Seabrook, New York, Florida, New Zealand, and Boston. Certainly Passover this past year has been different for many of us, and it is a nice thing to celebrate together, even if we can't fly and be there in person. So that was a wonderful thing this past year, and we wish you a mazel tov in the coming year, another year of wedded bliss. And the other couple is Ilona and Jim Thompson, also celebrating 46 years. Ilona and Jim said they're very grateful. Their families are in Houston, Brooklyn, and Florida, who bless you with their love every day. Your weekly Zoom Shabbat, where you all light candles together, which has become a tradition you all look forward to. I know many families that are doing that now. If we can't be together physically, we're going to Zoom together as we have Shabbat dinner, or at least light candles and say Kiddush together. So mazel tov to Ilona and Jim and Harriet and Arnold. We wish you many more years of happiness, joy, and success as a married couple. We have one very special couple this evening, married for 50 years, Debbie and Marvin Crane. So 50 years is the golden anniversary. You were married In East Midwood Jewish Center in Brooklyn, New York, by Rabbi Bezdin, the rabbi of Marine Park Jewish Center. You have 3 sons, all born in Israel when you lived there for 11 years. At the time, Marvin was serving as a paratrooper and he fought in the Yom Kippur War. All your sons are married and they're spread across the country now, New York, California, and Texas. Neva and Wendy, Yoel and Tina, Yishai and Dorit. And a mazel tov to them on celebrating with you this 50th anniversary. You have 5 grandchildren, 2 girls and 3 boys, ranging in ages from 8 to 14. The secret of your success in being married for 50 years is friendship, devotion, and of course, love. You have grown closer through illness, hardships, wars, and struggle, and always do everything together. Believing with your whole heart the wedded vow, Hare at mikudeshet li, hare ata mikudash li, behold, you are holy to me, you are sacred to me. And indeed, you find each other both sacredly together in this hallowed union. So this year, you're celebrating the B'nai Mitzvah of 3 of your 5 grandchildren, and the highest compliment ever given you was that you fit together like a hand and glove. You are also Can Care volunteers and both survivors. Marvin is currently undergoing immunotherapy treatment, and we wish you continued success with the treatment. May you go from strength to strength in your love and devotion to each other. And I always appreciated and enjoyed seeing you here on Shabbat. You came almost every single week. We miss you all, and hopefully one day we'll all be together in person soon. I do have an anniversary certificate for you, which I'm sure we'll either mail to you or find a way to get to you. Mazel tov. So for all our couples, I just want to say the priestly blessing, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may the Lord bless you and continue to watch over you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, may God's light shine upon you and be kind to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God always be mindful of you and grant you peace and happiness now and always. So those are our anniversaries. We only have a few announcements. So hopefully you all are figuring out how to log into our website. It's important to log into our website and create your account there. That's going to help you a lot in continuing to stay current with our services, particularly getting ready for the High Holy Days. If for some reason you're having trouble negotiating our website, it's okay. We have people here to help. We have virtual office hours every Tuesday from 11 to 2, so you can call or log in or email Jennifer Rosenzweig, Jennifer Sutton, or Ashley Mills, and they will help you negotiate our website so that you can enjoy the services we're offering, which unfortunately now have to be virtual and online. For instance, this Tuesday at 8 o'clock on Zoom, the last of the 3-part series, Stuff You Never Learned in Hebrew School. Rabbi Fort's topic this week is the Not Jesus Messiah. So that's 8 o'clock Tuesday night on Zoom. Rabbi Fort's very busy this week because I'm going to be on vacation. I think Rabbi Strauss may be as well. So Thursday at noon, she is having lunch with the rabbi, and you'll be able to have lunch and learn. On Friday at noon on our website, Facebook, and YouTube, Cantors in Conversation with Cantor Finkelstein. This is a fascinating conversation between Cantor Finkelstein and Cantor Feldman of Sinai Temple. They discuss their growing up in families of Chazanim, their musical influence and approach to composing and more. So enjoy this conversation with our own Cantor Finkelstein Friday at noon. Friday at 5 o'clock on our website and Facebook and YouTube, we have a Shabbat story time with Rabbi Fort. And that'll be every Friday at 5. And finally, we have Rosh Hashanah honey, as we do every year. The 100 Jewish men are organizing the sale of honey. Please buy honey for everybody you know in the whole world. It raises money for our 100 Jewish men so that they can do wonderful volunteer opportunities for our congregation. And also, it gives a sweet treat to everybody around the world. Goodness knows the world could use a little more sweetness. That's all the announcements. So now we're going to do Kaduche. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam borei peri agafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher kirishanu mitzvotav v'rata banu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila le'mikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki hanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom.